Mac, can you were on the Birmingham, right?
Right.
Tell me a little bit about that ship and what you remember about it.
Well, I remember the first time I saw it, just tied up to a pier. She was just put in commission. I saw that ship, and I'll tell you, I was saying earlier, most seagoing sailors either love their ship or hate it. That's why they call ship she. They always refer to a ship as she. And I think that's the reason. You either love it or hate it. The crew of the Birmingham, we loved it. The officers, we had the best officers in the world. And the Navy thought a lot of them too, because we had 4 officers promoted to admiral during the war, which was very unusual for one ship. One story I always like to tell, to show you the kind of officers we had. We got orders when we first went into the Pacific. Our orders were to neutralize Wake Island. Of course, the Japs took that the first thing in the war. They had a submarine base they built on it. And we went in with a carrier and a bunch of cruisers and just annihilate it. We weren't going to invade it, but when we left, there was not a palm tree left standing. We neutralized it. But right in the middle of this, we were getting return fire from shore batteries, and they had a lot of fortifications they put on it. And right in the middle of this, shore batteries, every so often you'd hear a shell whistle over. The skipper gets on the PA system, and all hands, cease fire, cease fire. And everybody said, geez, the old man flipped this switch, we're under fire here. And he says, at the end of the 3rd inning of the World Series, Cleveland is ahead of the Yankees 2-1. And a cheer from the crew goes up. There must have been some Cleveland rotors there. A cheer goes up. He gets on a PA, commence firing. Now, that's the kind of officers we had on that ship. I mean,
you think they just figured everybody would want to know what was going on? And
yeah, you know, you're middle. That was some of our first fairly heavy action was Wake Island. And boy, it just relaxed everybody and said, you know, we're still part of the world.
Yeah. What was your job on the Birmingham?
I was a signalman. Because during the war, the radio men received Morse code constantly from Pearl Harbor. But we didn't use radio. You didn't send much radio because they could spot your location immediately. And so among the ships in the fleet, your communication was a flashing light or flag hoist. No. Oh, and you talk back with flag hoist. They had a good system worked out. So being a signalman was very interesting because the signal bridge wraps around the bridge, and I mean, you're right there with the officers all the time, and you hear all the damage reports coming in and all. So it's, of course, there's not much protection up there either. You're kind of in the open all the time. But a lot of the guys that worked in the engine rooms and down below deck, they say, man, I wouldn't want to have a battle station up here. And I said, well, on the other hand, I wouldn't want a battle station down where you are. You don't know what's going on. At least up where we were, you know what's going on. You know, most of us were young kids. I joined the Navy right after Pearl Harbor. I was 18, just out of high school. And I always kid people and say, how long were you in? And I say, well, I was a smart kid of 18 when I joined right after Pearl Harbor, and I got out an old man to 22 4 years later. You get so the ship is home, and you get to trust the guy working with you. Everybody on that ship, when you go to your battle stations, even the cooks have battle stations. And everybody has a job to do, and everybody depends on the other guy. That's why you get so close. Your shipmates, what happens to one happens to all.